Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe Hoops with your boy, Nikki P. Y'all know what time it is, man. Y'all saw the thumbnail. So, let's get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're tuning in from. Today, we're going to dissect two of the most anomalous scoring performances in the history of the NBA. Kobe Bryant's 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors in 2006, and the 83-point game by Bam Adebayo that just took place a few weeks ago. On the surface, a stat sheet showing 83 points looks like a historic achievement. It surpasses Kobe's 81. It sits behind only Wilt Chamberlain's 100 in the record books. But if you watch this game, if you really watched it, not just checking out highlight reels, you know that comparing these two performances is not just a disservice to Kobe being Bryant. It's an insult to the integrity of the sport in itself. We need to be clear. Bam Adebayo's 83-point game was not comparable to Kobe's 81, not in any way, shape, or form. What we witnessed a few weeks ago, was not a masterpiece of skill. It was a premeditated, collaborative breakdown of competitive ethics. It was stat chasing, plain and simple. Let's start with the fundamental reality of who these players really are. Kobe was a volume scorer by trade. He was a shooting guard. For his entire career, his job description was to put the ball in the basket. When Kobe dropped 81, he took 46 shots. That's a lot, but it's within the context of his game. He shot 28 two-pointers and 18 threes. He drove, he posted up, he hit mid-range fadeaways. Every shot Kobe took that night in 06 was a shot you had seen him take 100 times before in a plethora of other games. He wasn't inventing a new game. He wasn't reinventing himself. He wasn't playing outside of himself. He was simply in a zone where his standard game was unstoppable. Now let's look at Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is a 6'9" center/power forward. He's an elite defender, a screener, a roller to the rim, and a high post facilitator. He could score, okay footwork, has a decent mid-range jumper, but he is not a flat-out scorer like that. Before that 83-point burst, Bam had never been a volume three-point shooter. In his entire career, spanning hundreds of games, he had never attempted double-digit three-pointers in a single game, not once. On the 83-point game, he took 22 of them things, man. He might not even take that much in a week. Think about the absurdity of that. 22 threes by a player who rarely shoots them. A player who averages less than one three-point attempt per game for his career suddenly launches 22 in a single night? That isn't a hot hand. That's a predetermined deviation from reality. He was playing outside of himself. He wasn't trying to win a game in the flow of the offense. He was hunting a record by jacking up shots that he has no business taking in a competitive environment. But the three-point barrage isn't even the most damning statistic. The most damning statistic is the free throw line. Kobe Bryant, in his 81-point game, shot 20 free throws. That's a high number for a guard who attacks the rim. It's respectable. Bam Adebayo shot 43 free throws, man. Let that sink in. 43 free throws. That's more than many teams shoot in an entire game. To put it in perspective, the NBA record for most free throw attempts by a single player in a game is held by Wilt Chamberlain with 34. Bam attempted 43. He broke a record that stood over 60 years, playing outside of himself. Stat chasing. How does a center who usually scores on dunks and layups get 43 free throws? He gets them because the other team stopped playing defense. Let me not even get into the atrocity that is the Wizards' defense. They're usually lackluster, but my goodness, they just phoned home that night. It's almost as if they were getting paid under the table to allow Bam to go break Kobe's record. It was ridiculous. Go watch the game if you don't believe me. And on top of that atrocious defense, his own team started fouling intentionally to stop the clock and get Bam more shot attempts. This is where the game shifted from basketball to farce. We need to talk about the tactics used to feed this stat line. In Kobe's 81-point game, the Lakers were down by 18 in the third quarter. Kobe took over because the team needed to win. He scored 81 because the game demanded it. There was no stat chasing. There was only survival. He was a lion in the wild hunting. And if he didn't eat that day, he was going to die of starvation. That's where that 81 came from Kobe. In Bam's game, the opposing team was essentially waving the white flag. They were playing out the string, and yet the Miami Heat, Bam's own teammates, engaged in behavior that is widely considered taboo in the league. We saw purposeful missed free throws on the offensive end so that Bam could chase the offensive rebound for an extra shot. We saw unnecessary fouling on the defensive end, fouling the other team when the game was already decided, just to stop the clock and get the ball back into Bam's hands. This wasn't basketball. It was a manufactured campaign. Just utter ridiculousness. And the reaction from the league, it was swift and brutal. Within hours of the final buzzer, social media was flooded with criticism from current players and former players. Legends of the game, players who put their bodies on the line for real competition, voiced their disdain. They called it embarrassing. They called it a mockery. The sentiment was unanimous. This was frowned upon. In the fraternity of the NBA, there's an unwritten code. You don't humiliate the game to stat pad. You don't turn a professional contest into a Harlem Globetrotters exhibition where one guy is chasing a number while the other team is just trying to go home. This brings us to a role of the coach. In Kobe's 81-point game, Phil Jackson left Kobe in because the game was still in doubt. The Raptors were coming back. The lead was shrinking. Kobe stayed in out of necessity. In Bam's game, it was a complete and utter blowout. The outcome was decided midway through the fourth quarter, and yet the coach left Bam in. He continued to call timeouts to draw up plays exclusively for a center to shoot threes. He allowed his players to intentionally foul to get the ball back. That's ridiculous. And that's coming from a championship head coach. It's just utterly ridiculous. The coach should have taken Bam out. Erik Spoelstra we talking about here. Because Bam isn't an all-time great scorer. He's a defensive anchor. By allowing this, the coach didn't elevate the player. He exposed him. He exposed the NBA and how watered down and diluted it is to allow a player like Bam Adebayo to even sniff 80-plus points. He put a guy who is a phenomenal team player into a position where he looked selfish, desperate, and artificial. The prestige of scoring 80 points is supposed to be reserved for the pantheon of scorers, the Wilts, the Kobes, the David Thompsons, David Robinsons, the latter two who scored 70-plus. I mean, nobody would have ever been surprised if a player like a T-Mac or Allen Iverson or, a player, Kevin Durant or somebody else, one of the all-time great scorers, one of the all-time most talented scorers to do it. But Bam, of all people. Oh my goodness. A lot of these games, a lot of these high-point games from other players, other all-time greats in the pantheon were organic performances. Those were players who, for one night, transcended their usual greatness. Bam's 83 points did not transcend his usual greatness. It was an aberration. It was a glitch. It was a statistical anomaly born not of talent, but out of scheme. He didn't prove he could score 83 points in a real NBA game. He proved he could score 83 points if his team ignored the concept of winning basketball for 48 minutes. Let's summarize the contrast. Kobe's 81 was born a necessity, as I was alluding to a little earlier. The Lakers were trailing. The team was mediocre. Kobe had to do everything every night, similar to how Allen Iverson was carrying the Philadelphia franchises for over a decade. Kobe was doing what he had done his whole career, shooting shots he had always shot, attacking defenses in front of him. He shot 20 free throws because he was being fouled in the act of trying to score. He took 46 shots because the offense was stagnant and he was the only reliable option. He didn't hunt the record. The record hunted him. After the game, he famously said, "We got the win. That's the most important thing." Bam's 83 was born of vanity. The game was manipulated. He took 22 threes despite having no history of that shot. He shot 43 free throws because the rules of the game were exploited to stop the clock. He and his teammates were purposely missing free throws and committing unnecessary fouls, actions that, in any other context, would get you benched or ridiculed. The win was irrelevant. The number was the goal. Ultimately, this game will go down in the record books, but records without context are meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. When historians look back at this, they'll see an asterisk, not an official one, but a moral one, an ethical one. Kobe Bean's 81-point game is a monument to competitive greatness. It's studied for its footwork, its endurance, and its killer instinct. Bam Adebayo's 83-point game will be remembered as the night the NBA turned into a video game where someone typed in the cheat code and put the game on easy mode, especially on the defensive end. It was a player stepping outside of his identity, supported by a team that abandoned the spirit of competition and the spirit of this game, of this beautiful game of basketball, man, to chase a ghost. And in doing so, they prove that while you can surpass a number on a stat sheet, you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot manufacture legacy. Not one bit. So let me know what y'all think, man. What y'all think about Bam's game? Y'all think it's valid? How ridiculous y'all think it was, man? Hop in that comment section. Let me know. Again, you know who you rocking with. It's your boy, Nikki P. You know what channel you rocking with. It's Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops. Jump in that comment section and let's chop it up, man, about these 80-plus point games real quick. And until the next time, peace.